Welcome back to Singular Skyforge, your channel for deep dives into the world of advanced jet fighters, revolutionary rocket tech, and the vast universe beyond. Today, we're answering a fundamental question in aerospace. What do we mean when we talk about generations of fighter jets? It's a term you hear all the time: 4th gen, 5th gen, and now the emerging 6th generation. But what truly separates them? It isn't just about age. It's about revolutionary leaps in technology, engineering, and combat philosophy that fundamentally change the rules of aerial warfare. So, let's take a journey through time and technology to define the generations of air combat. Before we can even talk about the first generation, we have to acknowledge the aircraft that started it all, the world's first operational jet fighter, Nazi Germany's Messerschmitt Me 262. This was a machine that appeared in the final stages of World War II and shocked Allied pilots. It was incredibly fast, over 100 miles per hour faster than the best Allied propeller fighters. But it was a flawed masterpiece, rushed into service. It was difficult to control, and its early jet engines had very low reliability, often failing or even catching fire. The Me 262 was a glimpse of the future, but it was too little, too late, and too unreliable to change the outcome of the war. It was the dawn, but not yet the day, of the jet age. The end of World War II and the beginning of the Cold War gave rise to the first generation of jet fighters, which dominated the skies from the late 1940s to the mid-1950s. These aircraft were defined by a few key characteristics. They had subsonic flight capability, their airframes were still based on World War II designs, they featured basic radar systems primarily for ranging, and they were armed with machine guns or cannons, along with early unguided air-to-air rockets or first-generation heat-seeking missiles. The first-generation fighter to see widespread service was America's F-80 Shooting Star, which participated in the world's first jet-versus-jet air combat during the Korean War. The Korean War became the defining conflict for this generation. The Soviet MiG-15 fighter, with its swept-wing design, had excellent maneuverability, including a superior climb rate, turning ability, and near-sonic speed. It was a shock to UN forces, as it could easily shoot down the venerable B-29 Superfortress bombers with ease, forcing a change in tactics. Representative fighters of the first generation famously dueled in the skies over MiG Alley, like the American F-86 Sabre against the Soviet MiG-15. The United Kingdom produced the Hawker Hunter, while France developed the Dassault Mystère. The sound barrier was the next great challenge, and breaking it ushered in the second generation, which reigned from the mid-1950s to the early 1960s. The defining leap here was supersonic flight capability. These jets were built for speed, often featuring powerful afterburning engines. Their combat philosophy shifted dramatically, with the introduction of radar-guided air-to-air missiles as the primary weapon, and they featured improved avionics systems. The first second-generation fighter was America's F-100 Super Sabre. The leader of the second generation was America's famous Century series of fighters, numbered in the 100s. Starting with the F-100 Super Sabre, this series included the F-101 Voodoo, the F-102 Delta Dagger, the F-104 Starfighter, the F-105 Thunder Chief, and the F-106 Delta Dart. Their rival, the Soviet Union, had the MiG-19, its first supersonic fighter, and the legendary MiG-21. France had the Super Mystery Fighter, its own supersonic champion. The experience of the Vietnam War provided a brutal education. Pure speed and early missiles were not enough. This led to the third generation, which emerged in the 1960s and matured through the 1970s. This generation refocused on combining high speed with much improved maneuverability. Key features included true multi-role mission capability and the widespread use of advanced avionics and early precision-guided weapons. The first third-generation fighter is often considered the American F-4 Phantom II, which truly defined the era. Representative fighters of the third generation became global icons. The American F-4 Phantom not only had excellent air-to-air performance, but also had outstanding ground attack capability, carrying a massive payload of up to 8 tons of ordnance. The Soviet Union produced the variable sweep-wing MiG-23 Flogger. France had its incredibly successful Mirage 3 and F-1 series. During this era, the United Kingdom lacked the ability to create its own new 3rd-Gen fighter from scratch and passed through this era with its own heavily modified domestic version of the American F-4 Phantom fitted with British Rolls-Royce Spey engines. Also, Sweden followed its innovative J-35 Draken fighter with the Saab J-37 Viggen in 1967, drawing global attention with its unique canard delta wing design and advanced capabilities. The digital age arrived in the 1970s and 80s, bringing with it the fourth generation. This was a massive leap, defined by computer technology. The key innovations were the fly-by-wire system, which replaced heavy hydraulic controls with electronic signals, allowing for inherently unstable but incredibly agile aircraft designs. They featured advanced pulse Doppler radars and early forms of sensor fusion, and were designed for network-centric warfare. The first fourth-generation fighter is widely considered to be the F-14 Tomcat, closely followed by the F-15 Eagle. The representative fighters of the fourth generation are some of the most famous and dominant aircraft ever built. The United States created the iconic F-14 Tomcat, the unparalleled F-15 Eagle, the versatile F-16 Fighting Falcon, and the F-A-18 Hornet. The Soviet Union answered with its own incredible designs, the highly maneuverable Sukhoi Su-27 Flanker and the MiG-29 Fulcrum. As technology continued to advance, a new subcategory emerged, the 4.5 generation. These are essentially 4th generation airframes upgraded with 5th generation technology. They introduced some stealth technology in the form of radar-absorbent materials and shaping to reduce their radar cross-section, and feature highly advanced sensors like AESA radars. The most famous examples are the French Dassault Rafale and the multinational Eurofighter Typhoon. The arrival of true stealth marked the dawn of the 5th generation in the 2000s. This is not just an upgrade, it is a fundamental redesign of what a fighter jet is. The defining characteristics are a complete stealth design, where the aircraft is shaped from the ground up to be nearly invisible to radar, true sensor fusion, and advanced data links, where information from all the jet's sensors is processed by high-speed computing into a single, intuitive picture for the pilot. The first and most representative 5th generation fighters are American. The F-22 Raptor is the undisputed king of air-to-air combat, and the F-35 Lightning II is the multi-role workhorse, designed to be a flying intelligence and sensor node. However, other nations have developed aircraft that have some, but not all, of these core attributes. This has created what we might call a 4.8 generation. This includes Russia's Su-57 Felon and China's J-20 Mighty Dragon and J-35. These aircraft feature stealthy shapes but are widely believed to lack the refined all-aspect stealth and deep level of sensor fusion that define a true 5th gen platform. And that brings us to the future, the emerging 6th generation. These aircraft, currently under development, will represent another paradigm shift, focusing on AI, loyal wingman drones, and directed energy weapons. The major programs we know of are the U.S. Air Force's NGAD, which we can call the F-47, Europe's two competing programs, FCAS and GCAP, and China's secretive programs, for which we can use the placeholders J-36 and J-50. This is the next chapter in the relentless pursuit of dominance in the sky. What are your thoughts on this incredible technological journey? Let us know your analysis and what other advanced technologies you want to see covered next in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into the generations of air combat insightful, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you want more content on advanced jet fighters, rockets, and the strategic universe, make sure you subscribe to Singular Skyforge and hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching.